What time is it, Lau?
It's coaching call time.
Time for coaching call. There we go. Turn this a little bit. All right, here we are. Who's there? Let's see if I can tag everyone.
I think the emails are because the emails are arriving later during the day. When they post that there's a live coaching, it's already too late.
Hey, look at that.
But here we are. We'll see. We have already a few questions that we're gonna answer.
There we go. I think we're able to tag it right there. Yeah, look at that.
Thanks, Jared.
We got comments and we're able to tag people. Imagine that. Puede correrse, estoy como
Sí.
enrinconado aquí.
Así estamos.
Yeah.
Ok. Hoy vamos a hacer la llamada en español.
Ah.
Todas las respuestas las vamos a hacer en español
Ah.
para poder hablar más fácil.
Shannon. Hello, Shannon.
Okay.
We
We can turn this into Spanish lessons.
Yeah, as if this month hasn't been like a full-on, like Ashley said the other day, taking a drink of water from a fire hose. If it hasn't been enough, now we're gonna do it in another language. Keeping things simple and easy for you.
Bueno, there's everything, of course. Like maybe for some people, it's not drinking from a fire hose. Maybe it's like drops. For some people, it's like fire hose. It's perfectly fine.
Oh man.
So we hope you've had a beautiful week. This is the last stretch of this program, this free program.
Final stretch.
We want to acknowledge everybody taking advantage of this free program and all the free resources you have. There's pretty much no excuse. Once you know this information, you get to apply this information to the best of your abilities. And we have not only the resources of 2024, but since 2020, you have amazing resources, videos, documents, documentaries, quotes, everything since we started this group. So you have lots and lots and lots of free information that it's here all the time in this group.
And if you feel like, man, I don't have time to go through the past 4 years and sift through things and figure things out, we understand. So we have had a handful of questions, people reaching out, so we just want to let everybody know. People have been asking about the membership. Yes, we do have a membership where we talk about these same concepts and more, and we're able to go deeper into these ideas and these concepts. We can give a chance to test things on ourselves and see how they feel. So we will be opening up the membership next week for those of you that were curious. So yes, you will have an opportunity to get in. We only open up the doors a couple of times a year because all of our time and energy is focused on the group. And not only is it Lau and I, but you have people that have been also in this or walking this path in your same shoes. They've walked in your same shoes and they've had some amazing life-changing results from doing the work, right? By implementing and doing, and they're there to support you as well. And so if you're intrigued, maybe you come in because yeah, that sounds intriguing, but people typically stay because of the support of the group, which is absolutely out of this world. And yeah, some people just don't have that support structure at home, because when you start to step out of your box that everybody puts you in, oh, this is you do this, you eat this, you drink this, this is how you act, this is how you think, this is how you speak. Once you start to make some improvements and you try to get out of that box, people want to put you back in. So maybe in some cases you don't have the support from people that want to see you grow, or at least consciously like really want to support you. So you have a full group of black sheep, a bunch of people, a bunch of women that are there to support you and be supported as well.
So we will send more emails in the future, in the next couple of days. So stay tuned, and we will also make a post in this group for everybody wanting to and feeling the call to be part of this tribe,
Yeah.
of course.
And like I said, I think it's important to reiterate, we totally understand this last month, we threw a lot at you. I mean, the book touches on a lot of things, and like just some of the topics could be, man, we could talk about and go into those for weeks and weeks and weeks to dive deeper into those and the subtlety of some of these different topics. And that's what we do in the membership. We have time where we take it nice and easy. We take one step at a time, and it's not as we don't throw as much at you as this book does in this short amount of time.
Smaller bits and pieces of information.
More bite size.
All right.
Okay, so who do we got here? Shannon's in the house. Hello, Shannon. Hello, Aaron. Kelly.
Suzanne.
And
Hello.
Suzanne. Beautiful.
Welcome.
Yeah, actually, speaking to the membership, Suzanne's in the membership. Kelly's in the membership.
Aaron as well.
Aaron. Oh man, so good to see
Right.
you. Beautiful.
So I have some questions that you asked in the previous week, so we're gonna go through those.
Okay.
And then we'll see if you have more questions.
Yeah, hello.
Buen camino por allá.
Before we go into those questions, is there anything that you wanted to touch on? Any housekeeping? Anything?
No, I think we can. That's my main thing right now, is to address those questions for the moment.
Okie
Okay. So Melanie asked, would love some suggestions on face cleanser or moisturizer brand options that are clean and non-comedogenic. Thanks. So a few things with a cleanser or moisturizer. I think, especially cleanser, I would say the most important thing is something that has no fragancias.
Mhm.
My gosh,
Fragrance.
that name, that word. No fragancias, no smells, no weird ingredients. So the easiest, I would say, is some sort of Castile soap. That's how you say it, right? Like Dr. Bronner's or something similar for cleansing. As simple as you can find, again, with any added things or colors. I think Dr. Bronner has really good without
additives
Yes.
and colors and
Without.
chemicals and
So I feel a soap like that, as simple as that, is a good alternative. And you can also find the bars that come wrapped in paper. You don't have to buy the plastic bottle. So that would be my suggestion for cleansing. A moisturizer, it all depends on the type of skin you have,
climate.
but in the climate and how often you sweat, etc. But what I like to use is aloe leaves. So you know that in the past, and as part of our membership, because you have that information as well, we recommended to do some aloe water at some point, right, for detoxification. That means you take the gel, you put it in the blender, you drink it, but the skins, you put them in the freezer. And that's that you take and you apply in your face, and that's like really good for hydration. Other things that I really like to use is castor oil, like organic castor oil. Sometimes I mix it with some local products that I can only get here that are super clean. But I also use Carrie's brand. Carrie Suwari has a brand for skin care, which I like, and I put also castor oil. So castor oil has the potential of really going inside and deep in the layers of the skin. It takes some time, but it will make the tone of your skin really uniform. And again, because it's so thick, I love to apply it and to mix it with Carrie's oils that she has for the face. So if Carrie's listening, please put your website for your products, but that's something I'm currently using, and it's clean.
Look at this skin. Look at this youthful glow. Golden brown skin.
Thank you. But I think that's the most important. The other thing is comedogenic. Well, that's not what you apply necessarily in your skin. Of course, if you're using a lot of toxic products and cosmetics of the most named brands, you're gonna have find your skin's just gonna keep absorbing toxins. But the fact that you have comedones or not, no sé cómo se dice en inglés, comedones,
Okay.
like pimples type or blackheads, comedogenic
Okay.
type, you know,
Like
that
acne?
not acne. Acne is like
Okay.
more severe, but this, it doesn't come from the skin or the things you necessarily apply. Remember, this comes from inside. It comes normally from the liver. So for this non-comedogenic specifically, it's a lifestyle change. It's the morning protocol we do in Wellness Academy, as you already know. So it has to come from a clean and healthy lifestyle so you don't see those effects in the face. So I don't know if you're asking this for you because this is more common in teenagers, but if teenagers are eating dairy and are eating sugar and are
Processed, packaged diet.
plus all the pills that they're currently consuming in most cases, because we know it's just a load of toxins and it's going to show up in the skin.
Cool. So catching up real quick, Andrea. Hello, Andrea. Another member, another sister from the membership. Shannon, Carrie's products are amazing. Indeed. And Aaron said, I found a local person who makes all natural skincare products. They're usually very reasonable priced and makes me feel great to support a small local business. Absolutely. I'm sure like there's so many local small businesses of people that are making really high quality clean products in your neighborhood, and it's just a matter of finding them. Maybe it's farmers markets, but just getting creative and finding them. They're all over the place. Absolutely.
And as a general rule for skincare, if you cannot eat it, you're not gonna apply it in your face. It's as simple as that. If you can eat it, it's good for your face and the skincare.
That's a powerful reframe, a shift of when you're reading labels. Like, oh, what's this? What's this? What's this? Can I eat it? Probably not. Well, then you probably don't want to be putting that on your skin.
Because it's gonna be absorbed and it's gonna go to the liver and the rest of the body as well. So if you cannot eat it, you're not gonna be able to consume it. Of course, we're not gonna eat soap, Dr. Bronner soap. Of course not, because it's soap, but more talking
Little common sense disclaimer.
sense, but of course, all moisturizers and all these things, you have to be able to eat them.
Just waiting for the moment where somebody takes this out of context and then posts it. Lau says, eat your soap for breakfast. The morning protocol. It's a great cleanser. It cleans out the insides.
Yeah, beware. Pay attention and read.
Oh my goodness. All right, Kelly, amazing. Yes, Aaron says, I second that, Shannon. I love Carrie's products.
Really good products.
As well.
Okay, so I don't know, maybe I can tag her. One sec.
There it is.
Thank you, Shannon. Always so helpful. Thanks. All right, so I have a question about the emotional chart that was shared in the email. I don't remember which day, maybe day 24th or something like that. So the question was, if you go to, let me double check. Yes, please. I think it's in day
25.
Day 25.
25.
Day 25. I said, or there's the email that day where it shows the emotional chart. So I have it right here with me. And it says to release specific emotions, use this chart as a guide. Maybe you saw it. If you haven't seen it, I can post it later. But it says where emotions are felt in the body. There's like una regla con números. ¿Cómo se dice?
It's chart.
Okay, there's a chart and the image of different colors of from red to blue and different emotions. So the question is, assuming that plus 15 is good and the red is through the body when happy, but then the next image has red at the top and it says anger, so she's confused. And do we spend a bit more time blasting on these areas? The idea with this is to really make it graphic for you to understand that our body does storage emotions. And many people think that when they get sick is exclusively related to some problem in the physiology or the anatomy, or it's something that is merely physic, and it's not really. The root cause and how it shows up in the body, and the reason why it shows up in the knee and not in the elbow and this and that, has a lot to do with the emotions that we storage, the emotions we don't process, the emotions we don't want to see, or the trauma that has been because of surgeries or because of strong emotional situations that we choose not to address properly.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I'm going to stir things up a little bit. But Lau, the book that we're reading, it says there's only two causes, deficiency or toxicity. Has so like, where do emotions come in? Do emotions then cause the cells to be toxic or deficient? Like, now you're confusing me.
Oh man, this will take a long time. However, in the tangible world, you see things in this way, and that is correct. Okay, it has a place, and of course, one second, it's getting hot. Of course, this is a really, tangible way of addressing this balance in the body. But we cannot deny, and there are a lot of scientific studies for those of you who need the science.
Science, show me the science.
And the studies, there's a bunch of studies already that show that trauma, especially if you know somebody, for example, with post-traumatic stress disorder, for example, it is clear that the emotions trigger, looking for the word, trigger like a cascade of internal biological messengers or biochemical messengers in the body to generate a response. So the link between our emotions, our mind, and the symptoms that show up in the body is undeniable. The link exists. So if there's toxicity and bad nutrition for the cells, what determines where it's going to show up? The problem is going to show up maybe in this person, it's going to show up in the neck, and in that person it's going to show up in the liver. Let's put it like that. Maybe they have the same toxic in the environment, they work in the same factory, let's put it like that. However, one shows up something and the other one comes with something else. So your inner story, your filters, how you see life, your storage emotions, your unprocessed emotions are going to determine where the problem is going to show up, because it's your weakest point in the body. So normally it's the weakest spot in your body who's going to come up with those emotions. So for this, you would have to dig more into the area of biological decodification, which means the code that the body is trying to tell you through biology on what's the real problem, or what are those emotions, where are these emotions coming from. So it's completely intertwined. And I don't know if that explains more.
No, it does. I spent the last 30 days with this great reset talking about two causes of sickness, and then you tell me that everything's emotionally related, so I was just confused.
I hope it makes sense, because there's
Yeah,
a
it
lot
does, it does.
there's a lot to say about those things.
Yeah. I'm being a bit of a smart ass.
No, it's okay, because I think it's extremely important, and maybe we can give some examples of, for example, there are encyclopedias or complete books about why certain emotions show up in the body. So this, we're going back to the chart. So if you tune with your own emotions, you will realize that maybe anger for you feels in the solar plexus area or maybe in the liver. That's why people say, at least they say in Spanish, that your bile is gonna spill out when you're angry. I don't know if you say this in English, but in Spanish it's a common saying. Why? Because the gallbladder and the liver are related to the anger emotion, for example. The lungs and the chest is related with sadness. This is also some part of Chinese medicine that you can see where the emotions are storage. Fear normally has to do with the kidneys. Anyways, there's many approaches. So this chart that I have here, the positive numbers refer to strong vibration or strong frequency of emotion. So happiness and love are among the highest vibrations. However, anger, it's a very strong emotion. It's not passive. Anger is intense. But for example, depression, which is shown up here as a cool color like blue, it's because it's an emotion that takes you down. Energetically takes you down. Same with sadness. And you're in a depressed state. But anger is intense. That's why it has that color. Same with happiness and love, which are the other side of the coin, really high vibrations and emotions or frequencies, but from a positive side. Where do you blast, or do you blast more of those things? Well, there are certain areas you definitely cannot blast, but I think that if you have a consistent emotion in your life, you can start blasting that area or the area that is related to that emotion to see what happens. Maybe you will have more of a release. But in general, these type of emotions, you're gonna feel them where the vital organs are, not so much in the extremities, which are the parts that are easy to blast. Like, you're not gonna blast necessarily the liver because it, or your boobs, because it's not recommended. But maybe the lower back you can blast more, and the lower back, for example, is also related to lack of support and lack of money or lack of economical support, and that's where it's gonna show up. Or in the shoulders, burden. You feel that you carry a burden from you or from somebody else, something that doesn't belong to you, you're gonna have it here. Or control. It's gonna be in the neck, it's gonna be in the shoulders. So if you tend to be a control freak, guess where you have to blast? Here. Or if you don't have flexibility in life, if you're very stubborn, the neck, because the neck represents the flexibility to see other perspectives, to see life from another perspective, from a different point of view. But if you're stiff in the neck, it means you are very stubborn. You want to have control, and there's like only one perspective of things.
My way or the highway, Lau.
The knees represent pride and also humility. So, hope that makes sense. There's a lot of information about that.
Melanie.
So let me know if that makes sense.
Melanie, yeah, we talked about those. So you're just getting in. I'm assuming you're just joining the live. Hello, would love suggestion for clean face care products. Yeah, we talked about that. So
like 10 minutes ago.
On the replay, you'll be able to catch all of that. So
that's the first question we address.
Yeah.
And of course, you can see a link. Perhaps you can see a link above in the chat. I don't know if you can see it, but we gave a really good explanation.
Yeah. And yes, so we'd love to hear your comments or see your comments. So yeah, let us know. And also, again, for some of you that are just joining for the first time, this call goes wherever you want it to go. Like, we don't have any...
we always say the same thing.
Right, but in a group of over 9,000 people, there may be somebody that's just joining the live for the very first time. So to let and remind you, if you're sitting there, this can go anywhere. So any questions that you have,
please.
There's a very good chance very probable that somebody else has the same question. So you're not only doing yourself a favor, you're doing that person or many other people a favor by answering that question or sharing. Actually, in the meantime, while some of you are thinking of a question that you have, we'd love to hear some wins, see some wins. So in the comment section, we do this every week in the membership. A wow, win of the week. So let's hear some things that you've noticed, some things that you've implemented, and some benefits that you've been seeing from the Great Reset here in the last week or so. We'd love, 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 love to see it. And Aaron says, oh, it's so fascinating to me about the emotions. I need to listen back to this on replay. So much to learn. So
Indeed,
need. Aaron, do you need to listen to this or do you choose to listen to this? Again, looking at empowering words. Need comes from a place of lack, right? Oh, I need this. But choose comes from a position of empowerment. Like, I can choose to do whatever I want. And you know what? I'm going to choose to do this. It's very powerful, this is what I'm going to do. And so just bringing a little awareness to our words, yeah? Aaron says, if we feel a wide variety of emotions consistently, is it best to try one area at a time to see how it makes you feel, or try them all out at the same time?
I think it's different in each case and depends on what you're currently going through or your journey, your life journey in this particular moment. So what I would recommend is, if you know that there's a very common visitor, meaning a very common emotion that comes to visit you consistently, if you can not think about it, but the first thing that comes to mind without thinking about it, what is the emotion that I feel the most? Maybe it's resentment, maybe it's frustration, maybe it's anger, okay? Maybe you feel a lot. I mean, we feel all sorts of emotions, and that's part of the human experience. But if there's one particular that shows up consistently, I will focus on that. Meaning I will look for where is that storage, or where is in the body represented. Now, not necessarily it's gonna be the same that in the chart. The charts are just guides, because that's the most common thing. But perhaps for you, resentment, or I'm just using that as an example, shows up in I don't know, it shows up in the elbows. I don't know. Let's put it like that. Maybe for somebody else will show up somewhere else, but for you, you feel, if you stay in silence for a moment and you just feel like, where do you feel something, or where do I feel the resentment? And normally you're gonna find that answer without thinking. The body's gonna normally throw you the thought. So, or what is it that I'm feeling and where? Maybe you feel some tightness in your solar plexus. Okay, so I feel tightness in the solar plexus. And what is the emotion that is stored there? And you're gonna have your own answers. So you have to use your own wisdom as the guide, because the charts are just like a resource for helping you, but they're not necessarily the case for everybody. So you have to listen to your own inner voice and follow the path that your body is telling you. And that's where I would start blasting, for example, or that's where I start addressing. Of course, if you blast and you don't address the root cause, you're gonna keep blasting all your life there. But those uncomfortable things, situations, emotions, those things we need to see. That they're not necessarily nice, they're not necessarily pure light and love. Maybe they're really dark, really difficult, but if you don't see them and address them properly, sometimes with professional help, they're gonna stuck there, they're gonna be there stuck, and generally they tend to create disbalance in the body and disease. So follow your own inner guidance.
So Kimberly is joining us. Hello, Kimberly. And Erin says she doesn't need, she chooses. So I'm still waiting. I haven't seen anybody share a win of the week. So let's see. Let's see them. Let's see them.
And thank you for your question, Erin.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm sure it's going to be helpful for many people here listening.
Some wins. Again, these wins aren't about bragging or being, what's the word I'm looking for, Lau? Showing off or any of that. It's genuine sharing, like, hey, I did this and this was my result. And again, a lot of times those are very inspiring.
Yeah.
So Kelly says, my win. I've been hanging on the rings every day for over a week. Yesterday, I could tell my shoulders were less tight.
Excellent.
Beautiful. So that for some of you that are wondering where in the Great Reset are rings and what the heck is, take a deep breath. Kelly's in the membership, and there was just this week we had, or was it last week? Last week we had a mission to do some specific hanging from some rings, and she's telling how her shoulders are a lot looser and she feels better. So
I did write it here in the Great Reset about it is very important that you start going to the bathroom in squat position and also hanging. So I posted a photo also of a kid hanging, trying to or explaining what does it mean to
hanging while they go to the bathroom.
Hanging and going to the bathroom to poo in a squat position. And we talked about the squatty potty and how important it is that your knees are higher than your hips when you go to poo, and that you can use a bench or a pile of books and both legs. So some of you maybe saw that we talked about hanging as well. So this is what we're doing in the membership at the moment.
We're just here to confuse you.
No, we're not. No.
Erin says the hanging rings have been great. I've noticed I'm able to breathe more deeply, less tension in my chest.
Wow. Look at that.
Now, imagine just that alone. There's less tension in your chest. Kelly, less tension in the shoulders. Now, what happens when you blast those areas around and connected? Now that they're looser, now you're blasting deeper. It's just one of these dominoes that it just gets better and better and better as you go. And it's not like one domino plus one domino equals two. It's like 1 plus 1 equals 5, and then plus one more equals 25, and then it just that spreads and it's amazing. So Kimberly says, yes, potty squatting is the best.
You see? There it is. Kimberly said it.
Kimberly knows.
Kimberly knows. Listen to Kimberly.
Yeah.
Squatting in the throne, I like to say it, is the best thing.
And where do you get the rings?
Where do you get the rings?
On Amazon.
The rings are like gymnastic rings. Like I recommend the wooden or made of wood. You can find them on Amazon. Put them in somewhere in your house and start hanging. Start hanging at least 30 seconds a day, and it's a complete hang, like completely loose. You don't have to get tight or anything, just completely loose. Ideally feet not touching the floor, but if it's too tight, you can start by putting your tippy toes and putting most of your weight in the hanging part, not so much in your legs.
Again, common sense. If you have issues with your shoulders, go nice and slow. Obviously, use some common sense, yeah. So what do we got here? We got Kimberly. I didn't do the rings or hanging, but I did walk 14,000 steps on Sunday and went axe throwing.
Ooh,
that's
that
awesome.
Sounds interesting.
That's a workout for sure.
That sounds fun.
And Erin says, I taught my 17-year-old the potty squat only a few months ago. His chronic constipation from his toddler's years is gone.
Wow, imagine that.
Holy smokes.
It's an anatomical thing that eventually we think it's a real deal. You squat, and then one of the ligaments that goes inside through the pelvis, it changes the
Position.
position, and then it allows your colon,
The
my
large intestine.
gosh, the last part of the colon to have a full opening and elimination.
There we go. Suzanne, I had the x-rays done. They showed arthritis. The right is worse. That is the shoulder I had 2 surgeries on. Okay, so I had x-rays, showed arthritis. The right one is worse than the other. Okay, I had 2 surgeries on that. The doctor just recommended some injections and Tylenol. I'm not going to do either. What would your advice be?
Well, disclaimer first. I'm not a human doctor, I'm a vet. So just for everybody to take these advices with, I mean, I don't want any complaints from anybody in the group. But if you go through the route of painkillers, it's very, very likely you would get addicted to them. And it's a very common thing. Some of you maybe have experienced already how easy it is to fall into that path of constantly consuming painkillers and getting absolutely addicted to them. And by reading the book, you will also understand how detrimental to your health is to drink painkillers on a regular basis. So, Suzanne, I would highly, highly recommend for you to, number one, read the book completely, more toward like everything, but more so they speak about painkillers and this type of treatments towards the end of the book. There are many things you can do to manage pain, including more natural options like turmeric, like mushrooms, like CBD, for example. There are also other types of more less conventional treatments that you can research. I'm not telling you this is what you have to do, but you can go and research, like vitamin C IV infusions, because that stimulates the collagen, the natural collagen in your body. Also, ozone, intrarectal ozone, especially, it's very, very useful for pain treatment and anti-inflammatory properties. Also, there are like your own PRP treatments, like plasma, paddlet rich plasma injections on site, that it's not from the umbilical cord of a baby you don't know, which has some ethical, topics around that. But like the PRP is your own blood, your own paddlets, your own plasma. That can also work. Also, acupuncture, it will be great. Everything that we do in the membership, like the morning protocol, the liver flush, the enemas that we recommend, that will be very helpful. Coffee enemas are really helpful for pain management. And then for sure, mobility classes, even though the shoulder might be stiff and might be painful at the beginning, rehabilitation of the shoulder and actually giving it mobility instead of keeping it not moving because it's painful can actually heal. Yeah, like mobility can actually heal. That's why we posed the mission this week of hanging was specifically for you. So you were in my mind when we decided to do this mission, so that's specifically for you.
Yeah. Crucial to find a program and start rehab like yesterday, to start moving and opening up. And obviously, again, another disclaimer, being very mindful. You're not going to overdo it, but slowly but surely getting the range of motion that's going to increase the blood flow, which is then also going to allow your body to heal. You got more blood flow, you're going to heal better, and just opening and loosening that up and just getting that energy to flow again, because it's all tight and stagnant and scar tissue, and it's all just
yes,
just all tight in a knot, right? So finding and figuring out a way. There's amazing, there's people that have been in your shoes, hundreds of thousands, and a lot of them have figured out and done certain things. So find and reach and figure out how to get in contact. Somewhere online, you'll be able to find companies or people that's all they do is they focus on helping people with shoulder issues and walk the the path of healing just shoulders. Like there's tons of them, and I'm sure there's some very amazing groups and people out there that are doing exactly that. So
I want to share a story about this animal movement that started in Israel. I think the woman that was involved as a trainer, I think that her story was that she was in a car accident, something along these lines, really bad car accident, and she pretty much broke almost every large bone in her body after this accident. After she started recovering, she started with the mobility program, that this is something they share now, which is quite intense. And if you see her now doing what she's capable of doing, like, Jackie Chan movie type of things, because the body has that capacity of regeneration, but also with consistency and discipline, this can be reverted if you choose to. But the journey requires discipline, and not necessarily is going to be comfortable. It might be painful, but teaching the body how to move and how to gain that mobility also will help with every joint and the pain that you feel currently in the specific parts of your body. So her story is absolutely amazing. I highly suggest you to check it. I think it's the animal movement, and you can find it online. I was gonna say something else. And the emotional part, of course. Check what your right shoulder means. I don't know if you're right-handed or left-handed, but normally the right side of our body represents our masculine side of the body. What is it that you've been carrying in your shoulder? What does represent? What is the emotion? And if you can trace back what was the situation that in the first place triggered, maybe can give you a better understanding of what was that you were living in that time and to which emotion or situation it is related.
And here, so Shannon was also going to say PRP, and Andrea says, Suzanne, I've been helping a friend who had excruciating arthritis to the point he couldn't move without severe pain. He was told he would only get worse with time and would eventually need surgery. He didn't buy into that. He cleaned up his diet, no sugar, no dairy, no gluten. The biggest thing was adding celery juice. He's up to 24 ounces a day and is symptom free.
Morning protocol.
Imagine that.
So we have a morning protocol that we've shared in previous New Year, New Use, but we also, it's one of the key elements of our membership is this, encourage everybody to start with the morning protocol, which is what Andrea's talking about.
Part of the horsemen, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, the book talks about.
And sometimes, I would like to say, sometimes this type of disease or sickness or disbalances are an opportunity. They probably suck at the moment, but they are the opportunity that life is offering you to do a 108 turn in your life. It means that probably whether you can choose, or is the opportunity to become a completely different person. Completely different. Because
that sounds uncomfortable now.
That sounds very uncomfortable for people that it's afraid of change. But sometimes this is what life offers you, for you to grow and get out of your comfort zone and stop being this person that perhaps you like so much the way you are right now and the things you're doing right now, but life has a better plan for you. So it's giving you the opportunity, whether you stay where you are and you go through this disease and this pain, and I'm talking for everybody here, or whether you do radical things and you change your lifestyle 180 degrees, and that could mean a lot of things, but that's the opportunity you have to reverse and to heal. So we don't know, maybe it's not so extreme for a lot of people, but sometimes it is. Sometimes you have to change everything, and that's the opportunity that life offers you. So
again, so important in the book, like a huge takeaway. And like if you didn't do anything but this one thing, this has the power to completely change your whole outlook and your whole situation. So he talks about like, what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on your disease, your illness? We talked a little bit about this in the last one. My this, my that. I have this. I have, almost like a badge of honor, right? But again, if you focus on the sickness and illness, you're going to continue to manifest and bring in more sickness and illness. If you're focusing on your healing, you're focusing on your health, just again, take a second, take a deep breath, take a step back, and look at those two very different points of view. And again, you decide what feels best for you, what you want to focus on, how you want to look at it. It's all up to you. But that one thing alone, because we're taught in conditioned, at least the way I was brought up, it's like, oh, it's sickness, 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 illness, illness, illness. It's not, I'm healing, healing, healing. I'm getting healthy, healthy, healthy. So it's, yeah. Don't take my word for it. Test it and let us know what you find with that. So Shannon says, I agree that on that 100%. About reconnecting and relearning the body. It's an amazing transformation in itself. I'm assuming she's talking about the animal movement, the rehab, the movement, and getting mobility back into.
See, and for those of you who are in really good shape and you don't have anything major to worry about at the moment, I would say prevention. I mean, if you have the possibility of starting now, if you're young, and if you have the mobility capacities of a young person, which shouldn't be exclusive for young people, but also older people as well. It's not a rule that when you age, you're gonna be all tight. That's not how it's supposed to be, really. But prevention is not, oh, that's not for me because I don't have that problem. No, this is for you, because it's the way you prepare for a beautiful, graceful aging. So don't wait until you have a problem, a health problem, to make changes. The changes start since you know that this information is available and that you get to do these changes. So don't wait until you're sick. You do this now. Oh, but I don't have digestive issues, but I don't have skin issues, but this is the moment to do the changes. You don't have to wait until you're sick, because then it's gonna be more difficult. And we have one question as well.
Right here. Deb says, my daughter had a baby 8 years ago and something got triggered, and about 2 weeks later had massive autoimmune issue. Could not walk, tons of pain. Docs put her on steroids for about 6 years. She finally got herself off, but now is doing some IV treatment every 6 months. All efforts to figure this out for her have not worked. She does not want to do the things needed, and docs tell her she cannot fix it, so she's convinced. Any thoughts on how to help her in a way other than me giving her the info, modeling it, etc., to reach her in a different way?
It's a really good question, and something most of the people in the alternative, that's not the correct word, but the alternative healing modalities, we are faced with, especially with our family members and friends. Super common. The only thing I can say, as simple as that, maybe you can also share, is that we cannot force anybody to do anything that is not ready. You know, everybody wakes up at the perfect time. Everybody has their own journey. And the only thing you can do is work on yourself, because
But now,
more you push or more you try to share this information, if the person is not ready, there's gonna be like a wall and there's gonna be full rejection. So there's really, really, really nothing you can do, because the awakening time for each person through the journey that they're going through is their own. And whenever she's so tired of these and the things that are not really working, and until she takes that leap and that movement, that power of will for studying, for researching, for learning different alternatives or asking for advice, that's the only moment we can really support. I mean, we can hold space, and whenever they're ready to ask something, we can share, but we cannot give unsolicited advice. I know it's difficult. I'm very guilty, entre comillas. Not guilty, but I understand fully. But there's nothing we can do. Everybody has their own healing journey.
yeah.
And everybody has full power. It's not that they don't have Google or internet or the capacity of research. I mean, everybody with a phone has the capacity of researching, empowering yourself, start looking for alternatives. And that's 100% on each person, on you.
Yeah.
So just do your own work. That's the best way of helping her.
Yeah, I think we've all been in that position. Especially, it's a topic that we talk about quite a bit in the membership, because somebody that we love, somebody near and dear, is struggling, and it's like, but I have the answer. Here's the ticket. I got it. Just take it and do these things. And they're like, no, that's not going to work. The doctor said this, or again, fill in the blanks, whatever the situation is. And we get it. We're transiting that as we speak. There's somebody near and dear to us that very similar situation. It's like, hey, here's some things that really truly help. Like, not only have we seen experience firsthand, we know many other people that have firsthand experience, and there's tons of research and like, no, I don't think so. I don't want to do that. Like, all right, that's so cool, and that's part of our journey to then learn and let go, and just send good vibes and support, and like, hey, still love you and everything, but that's some medicine for
us.
for us.
They also become our teachers,
Oh,
right?
man.
So,
But yeah, and now same thing. You say she's convinced. Maybe right now she's convinced, but maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe next year, maybe in a couple of years, maybe 10 years from now, maybe she'll be convinced, oh, maybe I can do something about this, and there is a different way. So we just never know. But what we've noticed, at least what I've noticed, the more I push
or suggest.
I suggest, it's met with more resistance. So until there's that opening, there's at least we haven't found the way that we've found. So again, we're open to this discussion. So if anybody out there has like the formula or the golden ticket, let us know, please. But up until now, what we found has been the best is just doing our work, doing the things that we know that are creating health and vibrant, abundant, vigorous health. And once there's an opening and somebody does have that curiosity and they do approach you and they do ask, well, then they're a little more receptive. But up until now, it's
most people has the same, questions. Yeah.
so. Hope that answers.
See.
But again, like I said, if anybody here has a different experience, we'd love to hear it, because there's some people, like I said, that are near and dear that we'd love to see them thrive and be
Yeah.
healthy.
But
And
the people, the different circumstances are because the person is ready. There's not going to be a change or an acceptance unless that person is ready to change and be open. So if anybody here has a different experience, it's because that person they were helping was ready to be supported. Otherwise, there's nothing you can do. And that impulse of healing and that impulse of making things uh, or change things or do things differently, it only comes from themselves. It cannot come from an outer source. It has to come from within you, from your willingness and be ready for and willingness to change and be accepting to change. So I'm pretty sure everybody that here has had that situation is because that person was ready.
yeah. So Suzanne says, thanks. Really appreciate all of the advice and input. All right.
See? And again, we don't know really as loving family members, we don't know what's best for the other person. Maybe the best thing that can happen to our friend or to our family member that is going through a hard time, maybe the best thing that can happen for them based on the divine plan or the greater love is for them to go through that lesson. And maybe it's difficult for the people around that they love and you don't want to see anybody suffering or going through a bad moment, but maybe that's the best thing it can happen, you know. And I know, oh, you don't want to see them going through that, but this is their life journey, their soul's journey, and that's probably where they're gonna reap most of the benefits from this lifetime. So not everything is as it seems, not everything is bad as it seems. Everything has a bigger plan.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to touch rock bottom, that's how you say?
Hit rock bottom.
Hit rock bottom and be in a really, really dark place to learn how to get out of that place, and then you can be at service with other people.
Now that's all that has been said from personal experience, and we don't have time now to go into it, but Lau went through a very tough, well, both of us, but more so Lau went through a very tough and dark place. And because of that, fast forwarding, again, without filling in all the details, we found the medicine of sound. And through the medicine of sound, we met Ashley. And then we started to hang out with them and become friends. And then all of a sudden, fast forward, here we are. We're doing our, what is this, our fourth or fifth New Year, New You? Fourth? I don't know, but a lot. We've done a lot now. So had Lau not gone through that, and had she maybe just taken some of the traditional paths and or whatever, fill in the blank, but had we not gone through this path, we wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now. So years ago, suffering and pain and oh man, just want to take a pill and do this, or just give me a quick fix or whatever it is. And again, there's a time and place for that. But had we taken a different path, we wouldn't be sitting here on this conversation right now. Crazy to think about, but yeah, like I said, maybe with some more time we can fill in the gaps. But it's a fascinating story of how we got here. So
thank you, Suzanne, also for being here. And Deb, thank you. She did ask me about quality of some vitamins. Perfect. So if she asked for something specific, that's what you give her. Like only this, okay, only this. Just vitamins, okay, vitamins. Supplements, okay, supplements. So that's great. And given the condition of her gut, she would not even absorb them. You know that, but until she's ready to see that, again, nothing really to do. So we have to let her walk her path.
And throwing this out there, at times, and again, we don't know all the dynamics and variables of your relationship, but at times it's worked for us. So like in speaking with that person, like, oh, hey, by the way, I've been doing some research and I found for me, I found out some fascinating things about gut health, gut absorption, or whatever, fill in the blank, right? and this and this and this. Do you want to hear about it?
Yes, no.
Okay, cool. So if they do, it's like, okay, well, this and this and this, does that make sense? And then and kind of you can explain without forcing them, this is what you have to do, but just like sharing, more of a sharing.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, those seeds are planted and they will
We'll see.
grow if they need to grow.
Okay. Gracias,
Karen.
Yali and Karen.
Karen, the journey is so valuable.
So I have one last question.
Okay, what is it?
That it says here, I took antibiotics and Accutane for long term for the acne as a teenager. Of course, gastrointestinal issues kick in at the same time, of course. Some effect of this, but have not had near as many issues since following this plan and eating cleaner and using more natural products. Perfect. So guilty of using tons of ibuprofen. I would love more advice on handling my hormones, though. Any input on help with severe PMS symptoms? So we're 1 hour, so we'll address this hormone topic as efficient as we can do it. But it is also our programming from already a few generations. And this has been instilled in our minds as part of the norm that after a certain age we have to take medications, and after a certain age we're gonna have PMS symptoms. Okay, this is the Western traditional way of thinking. So of course, if we think this and this is ingrained because we saw it in our grandma and then we saw it in our mom, we're going to also believe that, and that's gonna become more intense. So we have the mindset part regarding hormonal disbalances. The body part, or the tangible part, is due to our lifestyle choices and due to the toxicity of our environment and due to the lack of nutrition because we choose maybe conventional instead of organic, let's put it like that, or we eat the 4 horsemen, for example. When we reach this point of being near the menopause, then all this is going to be exacerbated, okay? But it's not related to the, how do you say it? It is a hormonal thing, but it's because all the lifestyle previous to this moment.
The years of lifestyle choices.
So there is different resources and different reading materials which explain that this is not the norm and this shouldn't be like this. There are a few women all over the world, or maybe more than what we know, that they don't go through this hormonal disbalance or this PMS symptoms. Why? Because of lifestyle and because of the type of culture they live in. They have different lifestyle choices. So it is not a rule that this is gonna happen to you, woman. It's not gonna happen necessarily as that. It has to do with lifestyle. So think about one of the main and biggest things that contribute to this hormonal disbalance are toxins, and for that you have to detoxify your body on a consistent, safe, and regular basis. And number 2, what you eat, especially dairy and dairy products, animal products, are going to contribute to this hormonal disbalance. Why? Because milk, let's say it, milk, cheese, sour cream, ice cream, you name it, everything that's dairy, it is a highly hormonal liquid because it's a breastfeeding mom.
It's a hormone cocktail.
It's a hormone cocktail, and not just that, but most of the industry of cattle or milk, there are hormonal protocols. By the way, that was my thesis for when I graduated vet school, so I really know what I'm talking about. For production issues or for facilitating the process of milk production, you put hormones in cows so they all get in heat at the same time, they all get pregnant at the same time, and they all have the babies at the same time. This facilitates managing these animals. So what happens? You're not only consuming a liquid or a derivative of milk, which is cheese or whatever, but you're also consuming small quantities, most of them not really detectable, but that doesn't mean they're not there, of chemical hormones that were used in these animals for this type of industry.
Factory farming management.
So
process.
if you're consuming any type of dairy, guess what? And it is very interesting because I've heard very, very commonly a lot of women after a certain age that are diagnosed with hormonal disbalance. And it doesn't have to do like, oh, well, my body has a disbalance. It's normal. No, it's not. It's your lifestyle choices that led you there. So what can you do to revert, detoxify, and start nourishing properly? The two main aspects. So I would say whether you come to our detox retreat and we'll teach you more, or join our membership and we'll teach you more about it, and we will be really happy to help you.
So just like that, over an hour's flown by, so we appreciate you taking the time, spending time for your health and your wellness, and we will be back again next week.
To wrap it up.
Foot on the gas pedal. We're going to keep on keeping on. We're going to finish this great reset. We're going to finish it strong, and as always, we're here if you have any questions. But have an amazing weekend, and we will see you again next week.
And also, Deb, just to answer that, if you want to know more about Theta Brainwaves, would you be so kind to come next Friday and ask us, and we can speak about it during the live coaching call if you would like.
Yeah.
So just in case we forget, we can really address that question.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to. So awesome. Lots of love.
Gracias.
Ciao for now.